To me, worship is a time where I kind of offer myself up to God. You know, it's sounds kind of cringy, and I don't like cheesy stuff or cringy things. But it there are things in life I think that cannot be fully comprehended or fully kind of worked through individually, and worship is an opportunity to uh, kind of surrender some of that to God, saying that, help me, I think I need some help.
With worship, and obviously you're doing other stuff outside of the Wesley, but is worship like a way for you to like escape school and everything like that? And like, if so, how?
That's another great question. I think in a way it is because it as a college student, you're a very busy person, so you probably know as well, is that it's easy to get just consumed and kind of just be overwhelmed under assignments, constant exams, homeworks, quizzes, readings, whatnot. Worship is a time where I remind myself that yes, those things are important. Those things are very important, but it is important to know where my fundamentals lie. Yeah, and I think worship, yeah, even the musical aspect of worship is one that really helps me just take a step back from my daily to-do things, daily routine, deadlines, and just be peaceful. Yeah. But for me, I worship because I know there is a God, and I do believe in the gospel. So that's why I worship. Worship to me, well, the worship that I'm doing currently, I think there are many forms to it, but for me, it's a way of communicating with God musically, and also praising God musically, and that is worship to me. At least the worship that I'm doing right now. Worship here at the Wesley, every Tuesday night we have a service that starts at 7. Worship here, it's actually very interesting. Worship here is worship. I often think that the worship here at the Wesley is one that is done through a very tightly knit community. It is one that requires a lot of teamwork, one that is something that is much greater than myself. Yeah, I could do it, but it is just not the same as having a team behind it, having a community behind it, and having a team to worship with, and also having a community who will worship together with you. Yeah.
Like, what leads you to lead worship? Like, what is driving you to keep doing that?
I think it is, it's very not the easiest position to be in, because it does require me to constantly practice and organize, plan. But I think what drives me is every Tuesday night, even when I don't feel ready, even when the practice wasn't so great, in the end, during service, there is a very overwhelming peace, and there's just peace in my heart throughout the time. So even if there are little stressful things here and there, I think that feeling of being at peace is one that just is pretty big for me. Yeah, and also having the opportunity to collaborate with a lot of other musicians as well.
I asked you about the leading part, but like, what led you to, in the first place, getting up on stage and playing in front of people, or even singing? Because I know that's always a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, actually, it's something that I've gotten, I guess, used to recently. It's a very recent development, because I'm not the most comfortable on stage. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't really pinpoint and tell you a specific reason why, but I loved playing instruments from when I was a child, and one of my really significant growths in kind of learning how to play instruments was through the church, was through music worship bands. But recently, there were vacuums. There were empty positions that needed to be filled, and I felt the need to fill those spots, and it kind of required me to stand in front of people and do it. And I've gotten slowly used to it, and yeah, people also have been very gracious to me as well.
Like you mentioned preparing and everything.
Yeah.
And you practice. Is there anything else you do to like prepare before worship, or even during or after it? Like, is there something like just to help you bring the nerves back down or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, before worship, always the team gets together. The team gets together to practice, to run through the songs. If anyone feels not ready, they usually reach out, and we do like a very personal kind of practice-ish, kind of talking about things. We take that time. Before and after, especially before, we do pray together. We do pray together because just to remind ourselves that, sure, worship is great, lyrics, great, music. We love to sound great. We want to sound great, but the most important thing is, apart from the music, it's just praising God. So that is, I think, a big component of kind of getting ready, other than practicing and organizing. And after, maybe food. Yeah.